Very good afternoon to you, and thanks so much for joining us on Midday Live. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. To our headlines this afternoon. And coming up, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders kick against charging of fumigation cost on containers at the ports. Former Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Justice Emil Short, advocates inclusiveness in the appointment of public officials. And later, on the foreign front, former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe describes his departure from office in November as a coup d'etat that we must undo. All right, so we have the detail of these, including business, sports and entertainment, all in the next 60 minutes. You would want to stay with us. Also stay interactive on Facebook and Twitter. It's TV3 Ghana. Beginning with this afternoon, the police have picked up a Lebanese businessman who fired shots at Osu. The incident is reported to have occurred at about 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 15.
A relative of the Lebanese businessman who would not speak to the news team on camera said his brother had been trailed by some men in a white car to his shop. Sensing danger, he fired warning shots to scare them away. Most shops had closed by then, leaving only security men. The incident attracted residents and night revelers who attempted to pounce on the businessman. The police then came to pick him up. At the Osu police station, where relatives had come to secure his release, the crime officer said the case was under investigation.
Also, traders and artisans close to President Akufo-Addo's Nima residence have vacated the area following a national security directive. Now, those affected who had up till yesterday, March 15, were giving a compensation package by the president. Our reporter Richard Bright had visited the area and has come through with this report.
The deadline for artisans and shop owners to move out of this land expired yesterday. And indeed yesterday, when we got here, a lot of people had moved their belongings. This morning, I have spotted some few people around who are trying to collect the remnant of their belongings. Before the deadline, there were about 40 to 45 shops around the Nima residence where the president lives. This morning, they are again here and they are moving them. As we speak, I can't see any single shop standing. So basically, they have complied with the directive to move out. The big question, therefore, is what becomes of the parcel of land left behind? Richard Brightado, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, meanwhile, the Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Dr. Vladimir Inchudanso, says the evacuation and demolition of private residences near the president should be viewed from a security perspective devoid of sentimentalism. Now, Dr. Inchudanso says the security of the president supersedes any previous affiliations he may have had with his neighbors, and he was speaking to TV3's Solace Rose-Corte.
Life, they say, can be utterly unpredictable. You could win the lottery tomorrow. You could have a motor accident as well. Or you could wake up tomorrow morning to find out that your next door neighbor is president of the country. But in a situation where the latter happens, what becomes of you?
The decision by National Security to ask traders near the president's private residence to relocate was met with strong opposition and criticism. With fair knowledge of the area in which the residence is located, one may wonder what could have informed the decision to evacuate only the traders. What about other neighbors? The question, why the exercise was necessary in the first place, still lingers on. The Dean of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Dr. Vladimir Inchudanso, sought to break down some of the reasons for such security actions.
The question is not a question of class. People hawking around in their daily chores and whatnot, and that's the normal life. But things have changed, and therefore something must also change. You don't allow hawkers to be running around, especially in this 21st century where terrorism is anything. And so people might exploit the innocence of those people who are trading already over there and are dirty and whatnot to do their own thing. I mean, clandestine activities.
He maintains some security measures cannot be disclosed in thorough detail, and this might raise nagging questions which might sometimes never be answered.
In security situations, every object is a positive tool and at the same time a negative tool. So it's not just moving people. You look at the security situations, what do you need in order to secure the president's security?
He added that national security can mandatorily evacuate houses if intelligence dictates so.
The delicateness of the whole thing stems from the fact that whether he's living in the place or not, there is a possibility that he comes from the place but will be living in the presidential palace until he is out of office. He comes back to his house. In that sense, if the people he was staying with earlier on had acquired their lands properly, they were living in the neighborhood, government could still acquire that place compulsorily.
Dr. Vladimir Antwi Danso, however, expressed reservations about the manner in which the whole exercise was executed, adding that there are more effective covert means that could have been adopted.
So when we were all vying for whatever it is to become presidents, the security agencies need to know that any one of us could have been president. As soon as things happen, we know what to do within the first year. And let it not be looked upon as if, oh, the president now is a president, so he has ordered. No, the security of this nation is not in the hands of the president.
So what you're seeing right now is what could happen if you find yourself a neighbor of the president. The question, however, is could this have been handled a different way? And could a proper education have been done to make it a smoother exercise? Solace Rose Quarty, TV3, Accra.
All right, we're back here in the studios. Let's go to the Eastern region where a circuit court in Odumase Krobo has remanded a 24-year-old Sachet water operator for allegedly killing his 18-year-old friend. Now, Nelson Ayensu allegedly killed David Wechi on Sunday, March 11. Family of the deceased is, however, demanding answers as to why the suspect, who was arrested by members of the community, was kept in custody for 5 days before being arraigned. And Komla Kluche joins me via Skype for updates of this particular one. Hello, Komla. Komla, good morning.
Hello, good afternoon.
Right. Good afternoon. Sorry. If you can hear me, what have you gathered so far, Komla?
That's okay. Yeah. Okay. From what our investigators have started, what we've been able to uncover is that David Wechi, he is he's a local rider in the town of Asekuma in the Enum area in the eastern region of the Fijiman district. What we understand is that on Sunday, the suspect in the question, that's Nelson Ayensu, had picked him up ostensibly that they should go for some rounds in town.
Well, so my colleague Komla Kluche there joining us from Odumase Krobo, where we understand that the circuit court in Odumase Krobo remanded a 24-year-old Sachet water operator for allegedly killing his 18-year-old friend. I'm sure Komla will be giving us more detail as to updates of this particular matter. But let's look at one of our headline stories this afternoon. And the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders is demanding that government seizes the charging of fumigation costs on containers at the ports. Now, the new cost slapped on importers and shippers follows a contract signed between the Ghana Health Service, Ghana Shippers Authority, and a Turkish service provider last year. Now, this additional cost charged on every container which arrived at the port worth $5 and $10 was considered unnecessary, as shipping lines already fumigate their containers even before the container begins to sail. Both Guta and GIF defended the issue that the containers do not belong to them. Now, the contract spans for 25 years, which the service provider will provide the service. And aside that, other West African ports don't charge for that particular one as well. Right, so joining us in the studio this afternoon is Secretary of the Tema District Institute, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF Eric Adiama, and also we have Joseph Paddy, who is the PRO of GUTA. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen, and we're so grateful for your time. Good afternoon. Now, let me begin with Mr. Adiama here. What do you make of this contract and the new charges introduced? I know you have a stand, but what do you really make of this particular one?
Thank you for having us. And in the first place, we would just like to say that any move which will prevent diseases and things affecting the populace is a good one. But the operational aspect of this fumigation process, first of all, is what we are looking at, and then the cost that it comes with. The fumigation point is at the entrance of the port, and then when the containers are leaving the port, it's when that's when they are fumigated. But the container arrives in the port. A lot of agencies and offices handle this container up to that point. So even if the container comes with any kind of contamination or disease, it might have affected a lot of people before the exit point. That is the first problem that we have, because we have our own workers, we have customs, we have port authority, and other agencies working in the port on the arrival of the containers. So if the fumigation point is at the point of exit, whatever we want to prevent by this fumigation might have affected the people already.
Let's make this clear. Are you worried about the fumigation, which you're saying it's good because of the health conditions attached to it, or you're worried about the cost of the fumigation?
First of all, I'm worried even about the fumigation itself, because I don't see its effectiveness at the point that they put the fumigation point.
Okay, let me just engage Mr. Paddy. Mr. Paddy, what is GUTA's stand on the fumigation process at the port?
Yes, thank you very much. Our stand is that we are not going to accept that.
Why?
We are not going to allow that. Because we think, and as we work with GIF, they are our partners that we work with, they clear our goods for us, and then so they support our cost for that. We think that we go abroad, rent a container, we pay for the container. The container is not mine, and therefore, if the container comes to the country and you ask me to fumigate, we expect that if there should be any fumigation, it should be even been done from the place where the container is coming from before it even gets to the country here. But why should the container get to Ghana and then you ask me, the importer, to pay for fumigation? In any case, we are asking, what we're asking is that the fumigation is also, like he said, is done at the exit point.
That is so, the country of where the container is coming from.
No, yes. So, and then even here, they are going to do the fumigation when you are taking the container from outside the port at the exit point, not at the entry point. So between the entry point and the exit point, what happens to the container there? There's something is going wrong there. And you, at the end, you say we are going to do fumigation at the exit point. And who bears the cost? The importer. And I used a scenario this morning that it's like, Nana, coming to work this morning, you went and then bought a taxi, and then the taxi driver asks you to come and go and wash his taxi for him. Does it make sense? Meanwhile, you have paid for. And what do you have to also bear in mind that even importers, we pay for container cleaning fee.
But one would also want to find out, were you not sensitized on the whole process before? I don't know if implementation has started.
There was no stakeholder collaboration. We were not notified. Nothing. All that we heard was 1st March, we are going to implement fumigation. And we are saying, what type of fumigation are you going to do? And it's going to be done every day. Every day. Look at the number of chemicals that will be at the port every day. So if 10 containers moved from the port today, you are going to do 10 fumigation. And look at the consistency of it. And I think that one is more hazardous than even the fumigation they are talking. So all that we are saying...
The Ghana Health Service, you're saying every day, but the Ghana Health Service suggests that it is a good practice, fumigating these containers.
So we are saying it should be done before it gets into the country.
What do you say about that?
Yes, we are saying that they should come to the grounds. Come and explain the procedure, the operation of these machines for us. Let's see the benefits of it. And then at the end of the day, we all have, peace in our mind as to what we are going through. We, the operators at the port, we go to the port every day. There's no discussion with us. We don't even know how much we are going to be paying every day that we work there. Okay? So, I think that, this is not, they should rather give us more education.
Let's look at the practical aspect. Now, how practical would this new charge help the business? And do you also have the same costs also incurred by importers as suggested?
Sure. We, the operators, are also going to be charged. As of now, we have a letter from from one of the ministries which says that we should register for the take of the project. And then we are going to be charged too. But that is where we work at. Okay, so we don't have to incur any charge.
That the two of you have already made your stand, but have you had any discussions? First of all, let me find out, has it been implemented? It's yet to be.
Not yet, but we had a meeting.
So have you had any discussions with the Ghana Shippers Authority?
Yes.
And what did you arrive at in that discussion you had?
They outright told us they don't know anything about this. See, I was in a meeting with the chief executive of Ghana Shippers Authority, and she said they are not part of this because they are supposed to be advocates of the trading community. They don't have any hand in the thing.
So now what do you intend to do? Let me pick from Mr. Paddy, then I'll wrap up with you.
What we intend to do is that they should share it, they should put it somewhere, because already we complain the cost of doing business in the country is extremely high. Even we are in collaboration with the government to prune down on the, even when you look at the import duty, the document, we have about 19 table lines. And then, so if you are coming to add on, it looks like anybody looking for money, and then the attention goes to the port. Anybody is looking for money, attention goes to the port. And at the end of it all, is the trader who bears it. And then, obviously, I'll pass it to the consumer. And I know recent time, consumers have been complaining that the goods and services are expensive in the country. It's not our fault, it's not our mistakes. Because people keep on adding on.
Okay.
Recent time, a lot of things has been added on. AU levy came. We're complaining about it. ECOWAS levy is there. Special levy, 2% is there.
Okay.
You can mention over and over and over.
Let me just speak the final words from Mr. Idiama here.
Okay. From our operational point of view, we need engagement on everything that they want to bring to the port. We are the implementers. If the government take a decision and brings a policy, we are the ones who are going to implement it. Okay. And so we need an engagement, and then we need to discuss the cost involved. And then the congestion is also another thing. This is going to bring a lot of congestion to the port. If we just introduce paperless to facilitate the clearance procedure, you go through that, and then now you can join another line for fumigation. Okay. So that's going to
gentlemen, we are so grateful for your time. Secretary of the Tema District of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Eric Idiama, and Joseph Paddy, who is the PRO of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Well, we will still try and get to the Ghana Shippers Authority to get some answers from them on this particular one. But on MTN Video Reports this afternoon, Otema Kwache, our citizen journalist, reports from Kweutafo in the eastern region on an ECG pole which is on the verge of collapsing.
After a rainstorm, this pole has been like this for more than a week now. The Electricity Company of Ghana has been contacted, but still to no avail. If this pole should fall, people living around would be in trouble. It is really dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Scary and dangerous. Reporting from Kweutafo, Otema Kwache.
Remember, you can also send your video reports via WhatsApp. The number is 055-1333-044. You're watching Midday Live. We'll return with more. Stay with us. This is Midday Live, and we're still celebrating our Ghana month. The hashtag is We Celebrate GH. But with the high cost of import duties and the high volume of cheap imported goods from China, the stage is set for the demise of government's agenda to promote made in Ghana goods, especially the production of textiles. Now, textile traders at the Makola market are using 90% of their capital to import foreign-made textile materials from China to augment local demand, while locally manufactured textile materials are not being promoted.
It's 1 p.m. Monday afternoon, and business is booming for traders in African textiles here at Makola Market. Patrons walk in to make their selections, but sadly, almost everyone is buying the imported African prints.
I wanted to buy GTP, but the China one is cheaper.
The worrying trend of the influx of cheap foreign-made African textiles appears to be deepening the woes of the textile industry in Ghana.
So I'm in one of such shops here at Makola Market, and on display are various African prints. What I hold here is made in China, high target they call it, and what I have here on my chest is GTP made in Ghana. The GTP is going for 75 Ghana cedis, and this is 45 Ghana cedis, almost half the price. But on display, you don't see the difference.
Piracy is the industry's largest threat. The woes of the industry started in the early 2000s, when original designs made by Ghanaian textile companies were stolen, pirated, and reproduced cheaply in China.
China, the government is helping them because of the export. They have most of the things free, especially something like steam.
Mama Wu has been in the textile business for only 4 months, but she can attest to the overwhelming crave of customers for imported African textiles from China.
For business, I mean, if you want people to buy more, so if they go for the high target, that's fine.
Textiles made in Ghana by GTP are reputed to be of superior quality and cannot be matched anywhere in the world.
When you look at the GTP, the texture is soft, and the quality is much better because you can also wash it. It's not going to fade as much as the high target.
These women prefer to stock more of the China-made textiles because they claim it is more profitable. E.T. Kennedy is a former employee of GTP Textiles. Having worked with the company for 42 years, he attempts to explain the high cost of locally manufactured textiles.
They try to maintain the standards, and the standards come with a cost. The grey baths, chemicals, the dye stocks and whatnot, they are all imported. After you've gone through your cost, you have to add a VAT to it. But these who import these things, they don't pay VAT.
Ghana's textile industry, which used to employ over 25,000 people, has declined in production since 2005. There has been massive layoff of workers, and indigenous Ghanaian textile producing industries cannot make their mark on the markets due to the importation of cheap Chinese textiles. Currently, the industry employs a little over 2,000 workers and is near collapse. As Ghanaians are encouraged to patronize made in Ghana products this month of March and beyond, it is unclear whether Ghanaians will have the financial muscle to afford locally manufactured textile products. Etonamse, TV3.
And to some more business this afternoon, the Indian business community has lauded Ghana's steady economic progress and promised to invest in the country if the right policies are in place. At a high-level business interaction between business communities of both countries in New Delhi, India, Trade Minister Alan Chemating said government has created the platform to make the private sector thrive.
The high-level Indo-Ghana business interaction, spearheaded by the Ghana High Commission in India, brought together key business players from Ghana and India to share ideas on investment opportunities. The meeting was an opportunity to sell government vision and business opportunities to investors.
I mean, Ghana itself is a small population, but if you look at it in the context of West Africa, that is an estimated 370 million size population. with a very interesting demography, because 60% of that population is less than 35 years. It means it's a market just waiting to grow.
Trade Minister Alan Kyerematen said no investor will regret investing in the country since Ghana is on the right path to industrial and economic transformation.
Without a strong, resilient economy, there can be no business. And that is why a major part of developing a country beyond aid means you have to have a strong economy to make sure that our local industries survive. Because how do I come to India to come and preach to you, to come and invest in our economy, when local industries themselves are collapsing? I'm not sure I'll be able to make a good case.
Some participants gave their impressions of the meeting.
I think what a strong step which has been taken today, and many people have come to know the strength of Ghana today, and I'm sure this will result into, and it will mature into many national, international deals which are going to take place in time to come.
This conclave today has become a stepping stone for company of mine to do business in Ghana. So I'm really grateful that I was part of here today, and let's see, probably 1 or 2 years down the line, when I see you people, I'll be at Ghana. I'll have a factory in Ghana.
Clearly, the business community of both countries, India and Ghana, are very optimistic that this meeting has opened doors for more investment and is a win-win situation for both countries. From Delhi, India, Nana Kwekwedia, TV3 News.
And the Minister for Planning, Professor George Shan Balfour, has underscored government's commitment to the economic integration of the West African sub-region. Now, speaking at a workshop on the corridor development for West Africa Growth Ring Master Plan, he noted government is wholly committed to implementing the plan to spur a balanced economic growth in the sub-region.
The West Africa Growth Ring project consists of 4 corridors: Abidjan-Ouagadougou, Accra-Ouagadougou, and Abidjan-Lagos corridors. These corridors are the major connections from the coastal capitals and the principal road networks to the hinterlands. The project presents detailed and systematic strategies meant to achieve the goal of spatial and economic integration of Ghana and adjoining countries. At a dissemination workshop of the project, Minister for Planning Professor Jan Balfour indicated the WAGRIC Master Plan will tackle the core issue of a weak relationship between the coastal economies and those of the inland areas.
When they call it the ring road, it actually rings around Ghana, and then there's a spine that goes through Ghana, So along the road, there will be some development that goes there. There was a time people thought that road is not a poverty-reducing agent, but believe you and me, I have experienced it, that I've seen it, that wherever you get access, the people along the access roads tend to improve in their lives. So it is actually poverty-reducing along the roadsides. You see some development evolving.
The Japanese ambassador to Ghana said Japan is committed to funding the project to bring it to fruition. Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwabena Owusu, reaffirmed government is committed to improve road infrastructure on the corridor.
Ghana's trade, in percentage-wise, with our 3 other sister countries, it's just 16%. I think the greater portion is 12% that we have trade with Togo. So the idea of this WAGRI program is to do more of trade among our countries, these 4 countries, than we do with Europe. We do much more with the European and other outside world than we do with our own African countries.
The West Africa Growth Ring Master Plan is expected to be completed by 2040.
And that will do for the business segment this afternoon. But let's look at some more stories. And a former commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj, Justice Emil Short, is advocating inclusiveness in the appointment of public officials. He was addressing an Institute of Economic Affairs roundtable discussion here in Accra.
Justice Emil Short underscored the need for a review of the appointment process if the country wants institutions to work. He insisted institutions are weak because of political patronage.
If we're going to be able to fight corruption effectively, there should be strict accountability. There is a perception in our society that certain people are beyond prosecution and imprisonment. So we should have a situation where nobody is above the law, and that is the essence of the rule of law.
The former Shraj Commissioner noted the passing of the right to information, conduct of public officers, and witness protection bills into laws will help in the fight against corruption.
I venture to suggest that it is because both the NPP and NB Nation appreciate the power of the Freedom of Information Bill. How people are going to use it to hold public officials accountable. That is why they are dragging their feet on it. This is my prognosis. I may be wrong. But why should it take 20 years to pass a Freedom of Information Bill?
Chairman of the Audit Service Board, Professor Edward Diajiman, recommended the redesigning of the country's institutions to help fight corruption.
And if you look at the police and the judiciary, whatever they were doing in the colonial days is what they are doing at the moment. If you go to the judiciary, people have to see them in chambers. The police is the same. The current practice of having roadblocks is not new. It has been there from the olden days. And they have been collected bribes from the colonial days. Until we redesign the institutions, they will not change. And if they don't change, it means the corruption is going to continue to be there.
The roundtable discussion was on the theme, can Ghana win the fight against corruption?
Well, the presidency directed all ministries, departments and agencies to undertake a 2-hour cleanup exercise this morning. And a letter from the Chief of Staff enjoined all staff of MDAs to participate in the thorough cleaning of their premises from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Solizos Korte was at the ministries and has come through with the following report.
In line with the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa, there was a directive that all MDAs embark on a 2-hour cleanup exercise. It's exactly 9:13 a.m. These people are staff. They are not professional garbage collectors. They are staff of the Ghana Education Service. So I've been joined by Mr. Elto Plaha. He is the PRO for the Ministry of Education.
Well, we got this directive just yesterday, and because it's a call to national duty, we've all made it a point to heed that call.
Now, ideally, on a normal day, who does this cleanup for the ministry?
Yeah, we have cleaners who do this for the ministry, but today, because it's a call to national duty, everybody, every staff, the staff of both the Ministry of Education and then the Ghana Education Service are involved in. We start this thing by as early as 8, and then we are still continuing, as you can see.
Now, when it comes to the attitude of the employees towards this activity, I mean, this is the first day. We would like to call it early days yet. Do you think the enthusiasm would be consistent as we've seen today?
I believe so. We should be able to sustain this momentum. It's been nice. It's been appreciated. And if you look at the number of staff involved, well, everybody is here. And everybody did something which was very nice. We went round, we spoke with staff, we ensured that everybody hand will be on the deck. And we are so happy, everybody is so happy looking at how clean this place is this morning.
Well, the time was given for 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Okay. So what's going on right now? Are you going to wrap up soon?
We worked within the time, but I would think there are a few other areas that we still need to, because we couldn't finish within the time. That is why you see people still doing some cleaning after 10 o'clock. Yeah.
and now at the ministry which is responsible for spearheading this whole activity, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. The situation is no different from the other departments and ministries that we've been to. Can this be sustained? And will workers be consistent? Or will this be another knee-jerk reaction, a 9-day wonder? We'll find out as time goes on. Solace Rose-Corte, TV3, Accra.
All right, Solace cleaning this morning, talking about the ministries, departments, and agencies. But you're watching Midday Live. We'll return shortly with some sports updates. Stay with us. And the big question on the table is who killed Fenwick Autry? Well, rapper Kokese is still demanding answers from investigators 4 years after the gruesome murder of his manager. Like Fenwick's family, Kokese is equally disappointed at the turn of events and thinks justice has not been served, and he spoke to Osu Orai.
You posted on Facebook saying that it's been 4 years of sadness and doubt. What is making Kokese sad?
To wake up and think that on this special day, you saw your manager being murdered live in cold blood. You know, it's been 4 years and justice has not been served. It shows that we are not safe in this country. If somebody get up and come and shoot you or stab you, we wouldn't know who did that.
So we are not safe. With this situation, people will start thinking about protecting their own self
in their own way.
Just around the time of the murder, a prime suspect was picked up, put before court, and the court discharged him.
No, it's not enough, because the reasons of the discharge is that prosecutor is not coming to court. Who is the prosecutor? The prosecutor is government. He represents the police. So if that person stops going to court, why is he not going to court? Somebody is not doing his job.
What has the police been telling you?
This is a national issue. It's a national case because it's a murder.
They should be telling the world
the answers that they've gotten.
When you make investigations and you find something or you don't find anything, you come back to the media. So they are not doing their job.
So you are disappointed at the turn of events?
Yes. Everybody, it's not me, everybody is disappointed.
And what are you expecting them to do now?
They said somebody was not there, somebody has been cleared off, like Bulldog has been cleared off. So if it's not Bulldog, who killed Fenwick?
Plot thickens in TV3's drama series Sadia as the detectives mount a search for the killer of Mr. Gibson. Now, the wife of the business magnate Claudia, played by veteran actress Kalsum Sinare, is a prime suspect. But does she really have a hand in Mr. Gibson's death? Well, here is a report by Naftali Ba.
But I thought we agreed not to get the children involved in this dangerous business of yours, Ralph. I mean, why now?
Sweetie, they were children then. They are men now.
My character name is Claudia Gibson. I got married to Ralph in the 70s, but before marriage I had my daughter, who is Farida. And what I can say a bit about Ralph is he's so much of a womanizer that he had to bring in other children from outside, which I tried to raise. And where is Farida?
I hear that he has an announcement to make. So for the very first time, we're having a family meeting. Yippee! Sir, what's the announcement, Daddy?
Farida, just sit. Now he's dead and everybody's accusing me of killing my husband, which I don't know. The story is yet to unfold. Father, forgive me for I have sinned. This is my first confession in 20 years.
And what is the nature of your sin?
I haven't committed it yet, but I'm about to do it. So this has really distracted me so much that I keep going on and off as
The
you can.
search for the killer of Mr. Gibson is still on, but does Claudia have a hand in her husband's death?
To tell you I didn't kill him. But then there's more to it that I'm saying, and let's watch out. Sadia is an interesting story that is coming out and you can afford to miss. Do you really believe I murdered my husband?
Make a date with Sadia every Monday and Tuesday at exactly 8 p.m. Well, Mrs. Gibson, known in real life as Kalsum Sinari, has been acting for close to 3 decades. What has sustained her all this while?
It's God. I put in a lot of effort into whatever I do because I believe without that you can't succeed to get to where I am today. So basically, I'm very passionate about what I do, so I do it right. And probably that's what has sustained me all these years. For the up-and-coming young ones, I'll just tell them to be patient in life and that you don't get everything easy. You have to work hard. But then if you rush, it's like driving a car, and if you are speeding, you might not get to where you have to.
All right, so let's watch the story unfold in Sadia TV drama series as we continue to watch Ghana. And we're in Ghana, we celebrate Ghana. It's hashtag we celebrate GH right here on TV3, Facebook, Twitter is TV3 Ghana. That's it for this afternoon's bulletin. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Do enjoy your lunch and have a good afternoon.